Let's build an paid iOS app and put it on the App Store without writing a single line of code just by using vibe coding. This is a full roadmap how you can go from idea to an entire application that's live on the App Store, paid app that will give you passive income, and how you can build this entire thing without having any technical knowledge. So let's start. First of all, we need to decide what type of ideas do you want to convert into paid app and what type of apps do you want to build. Either you want to build a web app or mobile application or only apps that are available on the Mac Store or Mac OS. For this launch, we are going to build a Mac OS annotator app that can annotate anything on the screen without abstracting or overlaying to the existing application in the background. I know I'm getting much more technical here, but don't worry, you don't have to write a single line of code. You can still build a paid app and put it on the App Store and start earning passive income. And why we choose this simple example? Because you don't need a backend or payment processor or anything that is happening on the cloud. Everything will be happening on the client or the user PC. So it's a standalone app, and that's why it is the one of the easiest one to build, and everyone will be facing this problem. Let's say I am as a creator and I want to annotate something specific in my code, or in I want to annotate or overlay or draw something on my screen. I cannot do this. Or let's say I'm in a Google meeting or a Zoom call and I want to annotate or I want to showcase something particular and I want people to follow where my mouse cursor is going. That's why this type of annotation app can be really helpful to anyone. But before you even start building, you have to first validate your idea and make sure that market is willing to pay for your application or service. Here, one thing you can do is study competitors and get to understand that, hey, people are actually paying for your idea or similar application. For that market research, the easiest and free way is to actually go to the App Store and search for similar keyword or app idea you have. So let's go to App Store and search for Mac Annotator app. Here you can see we have some results, but all of these results are specifically for a, let's say, GoodNotes or Notepad. They are not an actual Mac Annotator application. So either we need to change the keyword to, let's say, Screen Annotator app. And yeah, this is exactly what I had in my mind. So we have Presentify, we have Demo Pro Screen Annotator, iScreenshotter. So this is not our example. We are not creating a screenshot app. We are creating a Screen Annotator app. So here you can see draw, screen, timer, whiteboard, anything on your screen. You can customize with hotkeys. Hotkeys basically means keyboard shortcuts. And here we have the whiteboard. It also works on the iPad. Then another example we have is Screen Annotator, Annotate Anywhere, and this Presentify. This one seems nice. Yeah, it also have 14 ratings, which is good. And this is exactly what I had in my mind. I want people to use our application to annotate anything on the screen with custom text, then different shapes, custom objects, or whatever they want. I hope you got my point on how to do the easiest and fastest market research for an app idea. As you can see, people are actually paying 15 pounds or euros for this application. So yes, people are actually willing to pay for this. They have like good, decent ratings, and it is a very old app. So if you see the last update, it was in 2025 and they are right now in the version 7. Maybe we can see from ratings. So this one is from 2023, 2021. Yeah, so we have the market, it is already validated. Now it's time to check that how much this application has made in real time. Now head over to Google and log in or sign up with a free account in both of these applications. The first one is AppFigures and the second one is Sensor Tower. Here, as you can see, we have Instagram. They are making this much revenue. They have this much amount of users or download. So let's search for Screen Annotator app. And here, understand that we are not creating a duplicate version or clone of the existing competitors. We are going to enter in this market with our own features, unique insights, and lower the price than our current competitors. And that's how we are going to leverage or stand out from the market and compete against this monopolist. Here you can see they have decent number of downloads and generating good amount of passive income. So let's start building our application and move to the third phase. So we are done with the ideation. Then we are done with the market research. Obviously, there are so many different ways that you can do market research. Either you can go to Claude Code or ChatGPT and they will also do the market research for you, which is even much better, and I highly recommend this for you. Now it's time to actually understand what the tech stack that you're going to use in order to build your application. So we want to learn about architecture decisions. Now this may vary to different use case, to different application. Let's say you are creating a web app or a mobile application. You will need to factor in dozens of architecture system design planning before you even start building. You need to have proper cloud hosting. You need to have actually servers that is storing all of your data. But as this is a standalone app and we don't have any backend, we don't have any cloud rendering or server cost, that's why it is going to be very simple and straightforward in order to build this application within a couple of days or even in just one weekend and strong coffee. To break down the tech stack of majority of the applications on the App Store, you're going to use native Swift. Why? Because that way you're not building any wrapper or an Electron compose around your application, and you are creating actually native macOS application with this Swift language. And for our use case, as we are building this annotator application, we are going to use Rust code for our drawing engine. Now, how do I know this? Like which tech stack or which frameworks to use? Now, don't worry if you don't know anything about technical frameworks. Just go to Claude or ChatGPT, feed all of your ideas like what you want to build, and it will break down everything for you. And if you are building like proper SaaS application, what you can do is you can also create a PRD or product requirement development file that includes everything regarding your pages, authentication, what type of UI or architectural decisions that you are going to build in your application. Now it's time to go to the Clay playground and start building our application. For our coding purpose, we are going to use Codex or Claude Code for building the whole thing, and we are going to set up our brain. Basically, before you even start writing a single line of code in your code base, you have to first set up perfect Claude Code structure or your entire file repository structure in order to get the best or maximum output from it. So if you just study Boris Cherny, who is the creator of Claude Code, and he has a specific way of structuring his files before he even start coding. So we can search for Claude coding file structure. Here you can see the structure of your repository so that you can understand how you can customize it according to your use case. So these are some few examples. Let's open them. And all of these pages are my Instagram post. Here you can understand the workflow orchestration, task management core principle, and how you can start creating your own files. And don't forget to follow me for more technical breakdown concept like this. Here you can see I have jotted down everything. Like we will start with creating CLAUDE.md file, which is going to be basically our brain of our entire project. Then MEMORY.md file, hooks, and Apple compliance. Alright, so let's get started with actual building stuff. So head over to Claude Code or Codex or any agentic coding tool that you're using. It will work just the same. So we're going to install Claude Code, and we are going to use an IDE and not straight away inside our terminal. And why I prefer using IDE over terminal, because you will be able to work so much faster. You will be able to see the modified code and easily chat like you normally do inside ChatGPT or Claude. Alright, now head over to VS Code and download this inside the system. And yes, it's free to get started. And you can select any IDE of your choice like Anti-Gravity, Cursurf, Codium, Windsurf, or whatever you want to use. Now we are going to start from a brand new project like a clean slate, nothing inside it. So go to your terminal or go to your desktop. Then let's create a new folder. Let's name this as Screen Annotator App for macOS. Yes, so we have a brand new folder that is clean slate or nothing inside it, and now we will launch this folder inside our VS Code. So let's click on new window. Here make sure you select the open button, click on desktop, and select the folder that you just created. And there is nothing inside this folder. So don't worry, you can also follow along with me throughout this entire tutorial and create your first paid app on the App Store. So let's click on open. From here, first thing we want to install is Claude Code or Codex inside VS Code. So don't worry if you are seeing this for the first time, it might seem overwhelming to you, but trust me, it is as easy as describing your idea in plain English, and Claude Code or Codex will build the entire application for you. So on the left hand side, we have these blocks as called extension. Here search for Claude Code, and make sure that you install this official one by Anthropic. I have already installed this, but you will see this blue button called install. Make sure you install this and authenticate with your account. You can also do the same thing with Codex, but for this entire tutorial or video, we are going to use Claude Code. So here, as you can see, we have this Claude logo. Let's spin up a whole new session for this. And here we have our Claude Code running inside VS Code. The response from Claude is the entire directory is empty and happy to scaffold, which basically means start something once you point me the code. Obviously, it reads the folder name, which is macOS Screen Annotation App. You can also name your application, like I want to name my application, let's say PenAnywhere, which basically means that you can take your pen anywhere. As you can recognize, we will first start building the Claude.md file, and we are going to set up the memory.md file and everything later on. So here you can input first the goal of your project. So we want to build a native macOS Screen Annotator app for only Mac Store application. Then you can start including the tech stack, rules, command, or project structure you want Claude Code to follow before writing a single line of code. So let's provide this proper segmentation of our Claude.md file. Like we are just providing the name of the section, and then it will actually write the content or description in each section on its own. Got it. So it will start scaffolding, and as you can see, it has named our application or name our folder. It is right now creating the Claude.md file as well as AppLE-COMPLIANCE.md file, because in the rules we obviously want to make sure that we are following every Apple App Store rules and we are compliant from day one. Perfect. It is writing around 81 line Claude.md file, and even Boris Shani, the creator of Claude Code, recommends to keep around 80 to 100 lines of Claude.md file. After that, it is just going to ignore everything inside the .md file. So I think we are good to go. And it is also writing AppLE-COMPLIANCE.md file. Here, as you can see, I'm not writing a single line of code, nor am I doing anything. It is doing everything on its own. The models that we are using right now is Opus 4.7 with 1 million context window. You can obviously switch you can obviously switch different models as you like. So right now I'm using the default one, which is Opus 4.7 with 1 million context window. And for the efforts, you can start with the medium or you can max out in case you want. You can see it is setting up the git commit or git structure, then Rust core as our architecture decision, and installing the Swift package so that it can start building Swift application on our local dev. And it has opened terminal on itself and installing all the dependencies needed to build this application. Now if you go back to our folder, it is populated with different files. So here we have a Claude.md file, so let's open that. Here we have the name of our project, the goal, which is to create screen annotator app, the rules it must follow, so it should always commit after changing every single line in the code base, never push to anything, Apple compliance gate. So I will talk about Apple compliance and why we are having this AppLE-COMPLIANCE.md file before even writing a single line of code. I will explain that in later part of this video. Then code structure from first principle, the technical stack it should use. So for the language we are using Swift and AppleKit. And for drawing engine we have our Rust core. Awesome. Everything is good to go, and to be honest, you don't have to worry about anything. Right now we are in this era or in this time where coding agents are truly exceptional. They know what they are doing and we don't know what they are doing and going full YOLO mode. And obviously before even starting your project, you can plan out the entire architecture system design. You can plan out the entire code convention. Just head over to plan mode. So right now I'm just like going in just one shot because it is a standalone app. It is a very easy app. So I'm just going in one shot or YOLO mode. But obviously you can first plan, and then once you are happy with the plan it has created, then you can start executing or creating your application. Once it is done installing all the dependencies in our example Swift package and Rust core for drawing engine, then you can start adding features and start implementing phase by phase. You need to understand that you're not going to build all the features in just one prompt or one shot, and that's why we're going to break down our entire project building process into different phases, starting from the phase 1, which is going to be very core or basic annotator features for the application. So first of all, we want to build the feature that has transparent overlay window. Let's say I'm annotating something and I want to annotate number of followers or my lead gen man page. I want it to keep a transparent overlay and not hop on everything. Therefore, first of all, we need to build a feature that has transparent overlay window, which basically means it can draw on top of any application. And then we will start with the pen tool, which is basically like allow you to highlight or annotate anything. Alright, go back to your VS Code or Antigravity, whatever you're using, and spin up a new Claude Code session. Here we're going to say we want to build transparent overlay window that allows our application PenAnywhere to annotate or draw on top of any app. And then it will actually start building and coding the feature for you. Here you can see why we have set up the AppleCompliance.file. So before it even writes a single line of code, it will go through this Apple compliance file to make sure that we are compliant and App Store ready from day one. Here it is asking some clarifying questions like it should do on window level or multi-monitor. Obviously we want to do on only window specific. So let's go ahead and do it. And as we are speaking, it is building that feature for us. Until that, maybe we can pick up icon or where we want to position our application. So if we go to the home screen and we have this dock panel. So I don't want our application to be hogging or like requiring space on the dock. I think we can place our application somewhere here on the icon bar, and that's it. To give you an example of icon, here we have the whisper flow icon. Then we have this copy text icon and this different icons for different application. So we want to have our PenAnywhere icon like that. So let's go to Canva, click on tools, select pen and start scribbling your app icon. Our application name is PenAnywhere. So we definitely want to add pen to add meaning to the logo or app icon. So we can have maybe a circle, let's say. I know my drawing is not perfect. And we can have a pen tip inside that circle. And what we will do is we will feed this image. Let's click on download and make sure that it's transparent and feed that to Claude Code, and it will create that app icon for us. Coming back to our VS Code or Claude Code, it has done with the transparent overlay, and now we want to have that pen icon and start building the next feature in the sequence, which is this pen tool. Let's copy that and paste it here. As well as you want to include the image. Here I have attached the screenshot of my app icon, but you have to make sure that we want to only focus our app on the icon bar and not on the Apple dock. We want to keep the dock clean, and we are not going to have our application on the dock. It's going to be only visible or seen in the app icon. Then start building this core feature, which is going to be the pen tool that can annotate on any screen. As you can see, it is writing code and building application for us. Now let's talk about different features that we want to include. Obviously, number 3 will be color picker. We want the user to choose like different colors from their preference. So I'm using right now Excel Draw, and they have only this laser color, which is in the red. I don't want that. I want the user to select any color they like. As well as we want to give different stroke. Let's say a thin or a medium or a very thick stroke. Then a global keyboard shortcut to toggle on the drawing, which is going to be very important. So I want to use this Ctrl+D and not Command+D. Okay, Command+D is always going to be occupied by Apple compliance rule. That's why we're going to use this keyboard shortcut of Ctrl+D, and then the user will be able to start annotating anything on the screen. Obviously, we want to have the escape button, clear canvas, like clear everything in the drawing just by using Ctrl+X, undo, redo, and other different features we want to build in phase 1. Then we will start with polishing and differentiating our app with different shape, gradient, magnifying feature, timer, and other several features in phase 2. Awesome, it has done and committing every single work. Now why we are using this git commit? Let's say it has messed up something and it has not done what you wanted. So what you can do is you can just say revert back to last commit, and it will revert back to that save point. So every time you are committing, think of it like creating a save point or a check mark that you can always go back and start from there. So let's say you are building this new feature and Claude Code or Codex mess up your entire code base. You can always go back to the save place or a save zone, and you can start building from there. That's why we are always committing, even if it is changing a single line of code in the code base. Now let's see what it has done. So for the dock, it will always stay empty, and we will have this menu bar only. And for the menu bar, it is using this pencil tip crop circle, as we have provided our image, this red PNG. And for the pen tool, it has also done with that. And now let's test this. So it will actually build this application and run it for you without you having to write anything or open terminal or Xcode. Perfect, app is running right now. So we will be able to check in our screen. And there we have it. This is exactly what I had in my mind. So we have this menu bar icon. And if we click on this, right now we have toggle overlay. So let's click on that and let's start or try annotating the screen. And there you go. This is exactly what I wanted. I want the user to annotate or draw on top of any screen. And this is exactly what I had imagined from the first place before even starting the code base. And it is able to do this without any, let's say, hallucinating or without any trouble, as we have set up the entire Claude.md file, the code repo or the structure perfectly. Then we also have the button Ctrl+Q to exit out of this application. And now what we can do is we can start building the next features, as we have our code drawing feature built in. So let's take a screenshot of this, feed it here. Hey, can you please start building the rest of the features? Now what I want to do is I want to deploy a full agent team that spawns sub agents with their own context window limit, so that they are not feeding up my main context window limit. And once you are done, just test everything. Awesome. Now it's time to build all of this rest of the features and then move on to the phase number 2. Here note that we are not taking any space or hogging inside Apple dock. We are only available or present inside menu bar app icon. And as right now it is building the rest of the features, we can maybe plan out the phase 2 features. So we want to have the shape tools, highlight tools, then Pomodoro timer in order to stand out on ourselves, zoom board, then all the rest of the features. Obviously, you just have to tell Claude Code what features you want to build, and it will literally build that feature for you for your application. Now, as you know, I was talking about this compliance or APPLE-COMPLIANCE.md file. Let me show you why. So just head over to Apple Compliance App Store. And these are all the rules that your app must follow. Either it's on Mac OS, either it's on your iPhone or iPad, it should follow all of these rules. And we want to make sure that our app is Apple compliant from day one, even before writing a single line of code. That's why we started or created that AppLE-COMPLIANCE.md file. And as you just saw, before it start building anything, like start creating any feature, it will first read that Apple compliance file and make sure that everything it is going to create in the future will be compliant with the App Store. Alright, now let's check the work of phase 1. So let's click on again, and yeah, here we have much more things like colors. So the feature number 3 was colors, 5 colors, then stroke width, undo redo command, clear and hide overlay. So let's select blue color or green color. Let's click on toggle, and yeah, we are able to create a green color stroke. Now let's test it out with another color, yellow, and the stroke width to the maximum. Perfect. So that's how you can convert your idea into an actual working app that's ready to be put live on the App Store without writing a single line of code using this exact framework and structure. And now what we can do is we can provide the screenshot of the second phase and all of these features and start or spin up a whole new session. Click on Claude, paste, and we can say, hey, can you start building all of these features by deploying full agent team that spawns sub agents having their own context window limit, and they are all talking or having conversation with each other to check on every other process. Once you are done with building all of these features, then please make sure that you test everything and we are compliant with Apple. Now, until it is writing and building out all the features for us, it's time to set up our Apple developer account. So head over to Apple developer account. You can either submit via a single individual, or in case you have a company, you can submit via that. It is a very simple and straightforward process, and once you are approved, you will receive this email like this. Thank you for joining Apple Developer Program and we are happy to have you. And then you can start uploading and building applications on the App Store. But if you're a registered company and you want to launch your app like that way, you have to first set up DUN number, which is basically your number that is associated with your Apple account, and then you can start building this. So mine one is a particular number, I have blurred that out, as well as your legal business name, and then you will be able to get this DUN number. It took me around 4 weeks to get this number, so please apply as soon as possible. But if you want a step-by-step breakdown of how to create your individual App Store account or a company registered App Store account, just make sure to check out the link in the description. I have the entire guide or cheat sheet how you can get started. As you can see right now, I am inside my App Store Connect account, and what we will do is we will provide our API keys, certificates and everything to Claude Code so that it will start building, publishing apps on the App Store without us having to do anything. So what we will do is we will check the process on the phase 2. So the phase 2 should include the shape, highlighter, gradient tools and all of this. So let's check on that instance. And yeah, it has done working on this. Now let's test it. Awesome. Our menu bar is much more populated with different dozens of features. So we have the pen, eraser, arrow, rectangle, ellipse, different colors, gradients. Let's test out everything. So let's start with arrow one, I believe. So it has a hotkey of Ctrl+A. Yeah, this is really good. I'm able to actually annotate something specific, and now I can make sure that the viewer or you watching this video now knows what I want to annotate or what I'm focusing on in the video. Then we have different option of line, eraser, highlighter. Let's select laser. Yeah, this is a really good one. So this is the similar laser that we have in Excel Draw, but this one is much better. Obviously, you can play around with a different color. Yeah, let's select the gradient one. Yeah, this is pretty cool, right? Then we have our pen, which basically writes on your top of the screen. Then we have square, rectangles, lines, ellipse, or like you can also change the gradient color. Yeah, so that's how you can annotate anything on top of the screen. Then we have this start focus timer. So if you click on this, it will have this Pomodoro, which is 25 and then 5-minute break. So I'm not going to wait for 25 minutes to show you that, but I hope you got my point. And you can see once I click on this focus timer, it actually turns into a clock so that we are not taking any space in the even menu bar icon, and we are keeping our application minimalistic. Then we have this voice detection, which is basically whisper flow alternative. So if you click on this option button, it will actually listen to your voice and then convert it into text. So let me show you one example. So let's press option. Hey, how are you? How are you doing? And as you can see, it has changed to this voice app icon so that we know that, hey, it is actually transcribing our voice in real time. And there you go. You don't need to even pay for Whisper, as we are using this local model that is running totally for free inside a machine, and that is able to convert your voice into text so that you don't have to type anymore. Awesome. Our application right now has dozens of features, and I think I don't want to overkill with more features. Obviously, I have like 10 other features that I want to include in this application. But first of all, what we want to do is we want to validate our application or validate our idea and make sure that people are actually paying for that. So it's time that we conclude our phase 1 and phase 2 and then start publishing our application to the App Store. So we have to do the certificates, entitlement, and App Store Connect. That process is very simple and straightforward. Obviously, it might be overwhelming to you if you're doing this for the first time, but you have Claude Code that will help you with every single step. But before submitting our application, we need to create a logo for our application. So let's go to Claude Code, spin up a new session. Hey Claude Code, we will need to create a new icon or a new logo, which is basically going to be the one that is going to be featured everywhere. So we're going to use this image generation model inside Gamma. And as you can see, it has spin up multiple images for us. We will select the one that we like. I think this is a really cool one. So let's select that. Copy this and give it to Claude Code to actually use this for our application. Now I know the video pace is getting faster and I'm skipping some steps because of some compliance issue, and I don't want to reveal my API keys, my certificates to the world. But here we are inside our application. We have uploaded the logos, the screenshots. So all of these screenshots are created inside Canva, nothing crazy. What I did was I just screenshot all the features that we have, put it on Canva and annotate it with proper heading and subtitle, and uploaded all of these images inside our application. Then you will fill out all of the metadata like promotional text, description, your version, keywords, and everything like that. Now inside pricing and availability, we want to make sure that our application is available in all the countries and regions. So we will select all 175, and for pricing, I'm going to select USD and choose the pricing around 5.99 because our competitors' pricing was around $15 or £15, but I want to underprice and provide more features so that we will be able to get first few users, and then we will start increasing the price as we get more validated from our users. And now it's time to actually publish this app to the App Store and submit for review. You have to actually upload this entire file or entire application to this Apple account or this TestFlight. So we are going to use Claude Code for that, and as you can see, it is having these different versions. So all of my previous versions were failing, and that's why this last version was successfully completed. Now once you actually submit this app to the App Store, it took me 7 days to submit this app to the App Store. So here we have our congratulations message. Your review of submission is completed and now it's eligible to the distribution. Here we have the App Store link. Let's open that. We have PenAnywhere with beautiful logo, the subtitle, and this price around $5.99. Here are the images that we use from Canva. Here we have seller name, which is Manthan Patel, copyright. The application size, which is only 600 KBs, that's equivalent to nothing. Here we have the category, which is productivity. So that's how you can build full paid apps on the App Store without writing a single line of code, nor even opening Xcode once through vibe coding and following this exact framework. So if you want me to make more technical videos like this, where I'm actually building everything in front of you, another example is this Tilted one. This is my another SaaS, which is basically 3D animation software, and it is also available on the App Store. It is also a web application. It is also available on your iPad. So it has a working backend, it has Stripe and everything. So if you want more videos like this, just drop a like, comment below and subscribe for more.